It's a thing of beauty. Very few people. Like, you can appreciate a cutting knife, but to say an enticing beauty, I almost worry that she's going to bring the raccoon back until eventually she kills it. The moon increments its phase and reflects that much more light off my cutting knife. Again, she is so fixated with the knife. It's actually... there's a tingle in the back of my neck right now. I'm very weirded out by this poem. The very same light that glistens in the eyes of my raccoon friend. I slice the bread, fresh and soft. The raccoon becomes excited. Or perhaps I'm merely projecting my emotions onto the newly satisfied animal. The raccoon has taken to following me. You could say that we've gotten quite used to each other. The raccoon becomes hungry more and more frequently, so my bread is always handy. Every time I brandish my cutting knife, the raccoon shows me its excitement. A rush of... That rush of blood? I feel like she may have just stabbed the raccoon. A rush of blood. Classic Pavlovian conditioning. I slice the bread, and I feed myself again. Okay. Wow. So this one's a lot more direct than the last one. I definitely feel as though by itself the poem is about seeing another intelligent creature, and by viewing the creature, imagining what you must look like from another's perspective. The poem really kind of speaks to Yuri's lack of, introspection, and the fact she doesn't get out of her own head very much. And so to see that, and to imagine what she must look like as she's just slicing bread. Slicing bread for a guilt. Was she just going to eat the bread, or was she making a sandwich? I interpreted that as a sandwich, but I noticed she didn't say anything about any other kind of meat unless you were going to count the raccoon. So the idea of being perceived and expanding your mind beyond your own limitations is sort of what the poem is by itself about. However, expanding it to the game as a whole, I feel as though the raccoon is actually meant to represent me. Because the moon shining off the knife and the moon shining out of the raccoon's eyes, the fact that the raccoon has been fed and just continues to come around again and again, and is a ever-present companion, but at the same time, is another being of intellect that, when she's so used to not actually thinking of herself in the eyes of anyone else, I do definitely see some parallels that make me think that I represent the raccoon, which of course makes the way the poem ends super creepy. Obviously, I don't think this is going to turn into... I don't think I'm going to have to, fight Yuri off while she tries to stab me, but it does definitely mean that, especially with what we talked about yesterday, and with her having this weird punishment... I don't know if I want to call it a punishment fetish, but this idea that being hated and, being, negative reinforcement is the only reinforcement. I feel like she has that's also the way that she thinks about others, and the people that she has the closest connections to are the ones she wants to hurt. So I do think that may be why this poem is lining up the way it does. Again, I know I keep saying this, but it's like, I'm a little unsure about continuing to go down Yuri's path. Especially after that last interaction. I've really thought both ways about, do I want to continue delving this ending? But on the one hand, I want to see it all the way through. On the other hand, I'm getting pretty frustrated and concerned by it. I'm like, maybe I just want to jump to my neighbor.
I was a little more daring with this one than yesterday's.
You wrote about how you wanted to stab me, I think. I'm not positive. Yeah, I can see that. It's a lot more metaphorical. I know it was my fault, but I can't begin to imagine what this poem is about. Oh, I can start to imagine what this poem is about.
That's right. It's a bit closer to my preferred writing style, using the poem as a canvas to express vivid imagery and conveying emotions through them.
Well, yeah, if I take it as face value, I can't even figure out what it's supposed to mean.
Well, I think it's something that different people can relate to in their own way. I want to express the way it feels for me to indulge in my more unusual hobbies.
I don't think she's talking about slicing bread here. I think she's talking about running into the forest and hunting food with nothing but a knife. I'm actually not sure I believe that. I don't think Yuri's a werewolf.
It's those sorts of things I'm usually forced to keep to myself. So, I sometimes enjoy writing about them.
Why do you keep them to yourself? Because it makes her sound like a psychopath! What do you mean?
Well, because they're embarrassing. And people would make fun of me. Don't you have anything like that, Dameol?
Well, I do feel like Dameol probably is not going to talk about how he's been like staring at the shapes of people's boobs the entire time he's been in here. So that might be something, but I don't think people make fun of him for that. He's a freaking high school boy. Yeah, I guess I do.
I feel like everyone has a little something like that. Best we can do is to respect each other and our individualities. Even if it's difficult sometimes, and some things make us uncomfortable. After all, if I hadn't learned to embrace my weirdness, I would probably hate myself.
Well, apparently you think everyone else hates you, so maybe you should hate yourself. It might make you feel more normal.
I might be ranting a little bit now. But I'm glad you're a good listener. You're good at a lot of things. Writing, listening. There really aren't many people like you, Dameol.
Well, I think that's exaggerating just a little bit.
It's just how I feel. Never thought I'd feel so comfortable sharing my writing. But now, I almost feel like I look forward to it. It's just, well, it's a really nice feeling. And you're to thank to that.
For that. Yuri smiles sincerely at me.
For just a moment, her timidness seems to disappear.
Okay, and next up, we'll go ahead and hit Natsuki to get the polar opposite writing style.
Well, it's not really any worse than your last one, but I can't really say it's better either. Huh? Phew, what?
Well, anything that isn't a train wreck, I'll take as a win. I get the feeling you're probably the most critical.
Hey, what makes you... Wait, maybe that was a compliment. Glad to see someone recognize my expertise. Well, keep practicing, maybe you'll get as good as me someday.
So Natsuki completely missed the point.
Come to reminds me of Sayori's poem from yesterday. Yeah, well, guess you've been friends with her for so long, you might as well be on the same wavelength. But you never really struck me as her type.
Sayori's got a type all of a sudden? That's interesting. I wonder, is that just because there was so much Sayori also built into that poem?
Well, I don't know. But honestly, how can someone so, fluffy spend so much time with someone like you? It's like she's dragging around dead weights.
Well, that was a little unnecessary. Think of it this way. Or for me, she'd probably just fly away like letting go of a balloon. And say we take care of each other in our own way.
Whatever, I don't get it. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to show you my poem? Here. Amy likes spiders. You know what I heard about Amy? Amy likes spiders. Icky, wiggly, hairy, ugly spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy's got a cute singing voice. I heard her singing my favorite love song. Every time she sang the chorus, my heart would just pound to the rhythm of the words. But she likes spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. One time, I hurt my leg really bad. Amy helped me up and took me to the nurse. I tried not to let her touch me. She likes spiders, so her hands are probably gross. And that's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a lot of friends. I always see her talking to people. She probably talks about spiders. What if her friends start to like spiders too? That's why I'm not friends with her. It doesn't matter if she has other hobbies. It doesn't matter if she keeps it private. It doesn't matter if she hurts anyone. It's gross. She's gross. The world's better off without spider lovers. And I'm gonna tell everyone.
Well, this one at least disturbed me less than Yuri's. I feel like this has to do with the spider. I'm pretty sure represent. Well, I mean, you can take this poem at face value. I don't need to really delve into what it means. The idea that, I don't even know if it's an idea, but the statement that you can judge someone off of a single facet of their personality, which I personally, of course, don't believe in at all. The spider, I'm pretty sure, represents Yuri, because Yuri and Natsuki do not get along at all. And then Amy is probably Monica. I bet this has got to be a offshoot and a response to the fight yesterday, where everyone went against Natsuki. It's also possible that I'm the spider, and Amy actually represents next door neighbor whose name I've conveniently forgotten, because she also, you know, it's like everyone went against, but I do feel like Natsuki does definitely, you know, still kind of wants me to like her and wants to be my friend. So the one she really does not get along with is Yuri. So the spider almost assuredly has to be Yuri. So that was a pretty easy one to diagnose. But hers are also, they're not meant to be difficult to diagnose. They're not meant to hide their meaning, which is good because I had to read. That's also kind of why I follow up Yuri's with Natsuki's. Is that her name? I feel like it's not. Anyway, it's like, because Yuri's take a lot of brain power to really dive into and be like, okay, what is this about? And this is a lot more straightforward, a lot easier. I know that at least one person in the chat is a really big fan of her, but it's hard. It's like this is almost more of a metaphor than a poem for me. It doesn't, you know, I guess my big way of comparing it is that with Yuri, I actually got chills reading it. And granted, some of that was because I was reading between it, and I was seeing what she was really talking about, and this is just very direct in what she's talking about, which is good, but it's like, it's not speaking to me on an emotional level. It's just, she doesn't like Yuri because Yuri's a spider. Not bad, right? It's quite a bit longer than yesterday. Yesterday's was way too short. I was just warming up. Hope you didn't think that was the best I could do. Anyway, the message is pretty straightforward in this poem. Yes, it certainly is. I doubt I have to explain it. Sometimes you can explain complicated issues with much simpler analogies. And it helps people realize how stupid they're being. Like, anyone would agree with the subject of the poem is an ignorant jerk. Anyone would agree the subject of the poem? Amy? Do you know people like that? Of course! It's about how everyone thinks that doesn't matter. It can be about anything. I wrote to be easy to relate to. Everyone's got some kind of weird hobby or a guilty pleasure. Something you're afraid of people finding out, and then they make fun of you, or think less of you. Well, that's interesting. That's actually very harmonious with what Yuri says. Interesting. But, actually, am I making this too simplistic? Is the Amy like spiders, is she Amy? And is she feeling like people are judging her based on one thing that they know, instead of taking the entirety of her personality? I actually think that's probably closer to what it is. I don't think that Yuri is a spider and Monica is Amy. I think that she is Amy, and the spider is the way that she relates to the world, and the way that she likes to engage with poetry. And that actually makes the poem a lot more invested and interesting. Who cares what someone likes, as long as they're not hurting anyone, and it makes them happy? I think people really need to learn to respect others for liking weird things. Okay, no, I like this poem a lot more. Before I was like, oh geez, because it was such surface level. You heard about something similar today. Huh? Did you say Yuri? She said her poem was about an unusual hobby of hers. I didn't really get it, but she said something similar to you. That people shouldn't make each other feel insecure about those things. Well, I mean, Yuri's pretty weird. One doubt she has some weird hobbies. Not there's anything wrong with that. It's not like I would judge her or anything. Oh, she's having such a hard time lying. Natsuki has trouble finding words. Oh jeez, I just pulled a thing out and now my... Okay, never mind.
I guess I should try not to be so mean to her. She feels insecure about her weird behaviors and stuff. I mean, I always hate people who make me feel insecure. And Yuri made me feel insecure yesterday. But the way you put it sounds like she learned her lesson.
Well, I would say so. Even if her writing style is really different, I'm sure she'll appreciate the message in your poem.
It's what I do best, after all. I don't like writing unless there's a good message to take away from it. Like, conveying emotions is important, but I want to make sure people think, not just feel. Remember that.
Was it thinking not just... Wait a second, I think I may have misread that. Wow, okay, I wouldn't have expected Natsuki to say that. She seems much more of a feel-based person.
I'm gonna write a good one for tomorrow, so look forward to it.
Oh, I always do. I always look forward to Poem Day. Sayori?
Oh! I like this one, Dameol. It's got some nice feelings in it.
Does it mean it's better than yesterday's?
Let me think. I don't know. I guess I like them both.
That's not very helpful, you know.
Well, I'm not really good at figuring out if poems are good or bad. But that's just why I go by my heart. It makes me feel things, then it must be a good poem.
Not exactly sure that's how that works. And again, I guess conveying feelings is a pretty important part of the whole thing. Honestly, I don't even know what kind of writing you like in the first place.
Yeah! Me neither.
Why don't you at least try giving it some thought?
Oh, you want to write something for me? That's so sweet.
But you're always thinking about other people. You think about yourself once in a while. That's actually a really good, really true statement. There are a lot of people, this was years and years and years ago, but one of my friends was just continuously dating, and she got out of like a 3-year relationship, and she was immediately, she hit me up and she's like, hey, we should go out, and I'm like, look, you need to take some time and live by yourself. You need to take some time and just figure out what you want out of life. Quit constantly bouncing from boyfriend to boyfriend. Now, granted, I don't think that's quite the same as the series going through here, but it was still a very truistic statement. If you don't, you might end up getting hurt at some point.
Well, I don't really know what you mean, but I'll try and keep it in mind. Anyway, let's see. I guess I like happy poems? Wait, sometimes I like sad poems too. Sometimes a bit of both? There's a word for that, right? Oxymoronic poem?
No, that's not oxymoronic poems.
Bittersweet! Yeah, that's it. I like things that are happy and things that are sad. Like apples.
I can't see you liking something sad, Sayori.
Well, I like happy the most. But sometimes, when you have a little rain cloud in your head, a sad poem can help give the rain cloud a little hug. And make a nice happy rainbow.
God damn it, Sayori is legitimately cute. I do think she's my favorite character in terms of just the characterization. Maybe not, like, I like Yuri's poetry the best. Well, I did until today, goddamn. Sayori, that's unexpectedly poetic.
It is? Maybe I need better expressing my feelings after all. Thanks, Dameol. I should go write that down then. You can read my poem now, okay?
These are all bottles.
I pop off my soda.
Scalp, not soda, wow.
Pop off my scalp like the lid of a cookie jar. It's a secret place where I keep all my dreams. Little bells of sunshine all rubbing together in like a little ball.
What? Wow, we're getting like metaphorically within metaphors.
Like a little bundle of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly, but there's no time to waste. I put it in the bottle to keep it safe. And I put the bottle on a shelf with all the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in bottles, all in a row. My collection makes me lots of friends, each bottle of starlight to make amends. Sometimes my friend feels a certain way. Down comes a bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams. Friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go, like exploring a dark cave, discovering the secrets hiding in the nooks and crannies. Digging and digging, scraping and scraping. I blow the dust off my bottle caps. It doesn't feel like time elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally, all done, I open up, and in come my friends. In they come in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? Frantically pull them from the shelf, one after the other, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle. But every time I let one go, it shatters against the between my feet.
The tile between my feet. Ah.
Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in shards all over the floor. They were supposed to be for my friends who aren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading, something, but all I hear is echo, 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 echo inside my head.
Okay, when I first read this, I was not sure where it was going, and it seemed again simplistic. But this is a much more interesting poem. I'm having to scramble a bit to try and figure it out. On the one hand, I think it relates very directly to what Dameol just said about how she has to focus on herself and figure out what she wants. Because I definitely feel like what this poem is saying is that she has been spending a lot of her time trying to figure out how to represent herself, how to be the best person she can be in order to spread happiness. She wants to be surrounded by happy people, and she's trying to make others happy. She's kind of falsifying her own personality, even worse than Natsuki is, possibly, or maybe she thinks she is, because Natsuki is definitely interested in cute things, but Sayori is definitely really living that kawaii lifestyle and just doing everything she can to be spontaneous and sporadic and fun. And I feel like this poem is kind of breaking that down of everything she's doing is giving away joy to others, and she doesn't have any. She's running out of joy inside of her own heart. She's running out of joy inside of her own head, and her friends aren't her friends because they don't know who she is. Instead, they look to her as a ray of sunshine, which is kind of, again, her poem yesterday was about a ray of sunshine. And as they're starting to realize that she's not real, then that friendship is dissolving. I like this poem. Holy crap. Sarah, did you really write this? Of course I did! Didn't I tell you yesterday I was going to write the best poem ever? Yeah, but there's something like this, coming from you. Monica taught me a whole lot. I've been really in touch with my feelings recently. Yeah, I can see that. It's almost kind of creepy. Don't say creepy! Creepy? Well, I mean, it's not creepy. Maybe because I'm so used to you being cheerful. Well, never mind. I'm thinking too hard about it. The point is, it came out really well, and you should be proud of it. Oh, thanks. I feel like I was meant to express myself this way. It even helps me understand my own feelings a little bit better. Writing is like magic. You've gotten pretty passionate about this, huh? Hope you keep it up. Yeah! Writing's the best. I'm gonna keep writing until I die. Don't get ahead of yourself. I've definitely known people like that. I wonder if this is one of those times. The passion in her eyes makes it hard for me to be pessimistic. Alright, and lastly, Monica. Hiya, good Dameol. How's the writing going? Well, it's going alright, I guess. I'll take that, and I'll be the judge. As long as it's not going badly. I'm happy you're applying yourself. Maybe soon you'll come up with a masterpiece. You never know. Want to share what you wrote for today? Alright! This one's good! Feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better than the last one I read. Just wondering, but have you been finding inspiration in Yuri's writing style? I mean, you could say that. I'm getting inspiration in Yuri something. I guess so. You can't deny she's talented. Oh, yeah, totally! I think her poems are the most romantic. Have you read her poem for today? That's the best way to describe it. She's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that too. When she's talking about literature, it's like a light turns on inside her. Uh-huh. Sadly, it's hard to get much more personal conversation out of her. Trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on in that head of hers? Hope you don't mean that in a bad way.
Oh no, I always talk nicely about people I can't figure out. No, of course not. I just meant I wish she didn't keep so much to herself. But still, defending her like that. You must be pretty into her.
I mean, I'd like to be. You completely misunderstood.
Oh, calm down, I'm kidding. Besides, I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend.
What? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, a fictional one anyway. It's just a hunch, but...
Well, there's not really anything wrong with it. Yeah, a lot of people, like, always imagine a perfect boyfriend for themselves.
Oh, well, I know. I was just saying. But, anyway, you want to read my poem?
Absolutely. Alright, let's take a look.
The colors, they won't stop. Bright and beautiful colors, flashing, expanding, piercing, red, green, and blue. An endless cacophony of meaningless noise.
Oh, wow. Sorry, I just noticed there was a big blank.
The noise, it won't stop. Violent grating waveforms, squeaking, screeching, piercing, sine, cosine, tangent, like playing a chalkboard on a turntable, like playing a vinyl on a pizza crust. An endless poem of meaninglessness.
Load me? Hold on. Okay, because here's the thing. When I first saw this, I was like, save me, okay, yeah, please protect and defend me. And then it feels like there's a... The poem, I initially thought it was just kind of talking about the surroundings, how things have gotten a lot more frenzied lately, how there's a lot of, impassionate things happening all around her, how the literature club has gotten a lot more vibrant, and it's kind of shattered the world she had for a long time, and even though she's happy, she's also overwhelmed. However, the load me at the end, that's a computer term. That's what you do in the game. You load and you save games, you load them, you explore different options, you explore different endings. And I know people said that this was somewhat like Undertale and that it was aware it was a game. So I'm wondering if Monica is where that comes from. Is she actually aware that she is part of a computer? Because if so, then the red, green, blue, those are specifically the CRT colors. And endless cacophony of meaningless noise might actually be like the video inputs being sent, which if she was somehow aware of them and aware her world was just simply made up of commands to a monitor to display, if she could hear that, then it would just be like this overwhelming cacophony. The violent grating waveforms could similarly be the track, that if she's just able to see the wave file in and of itself. I didn't mean to click out. Huh. It's even more extracting than your last one, huh?
I guess it's just the way I write. I'm sorry you don't like it.
I didn't say I didn't like it. It's weird, though. Like, the problem is that because I think that's what the poem is about, it's hard for me to really talk about the poem on its own merits, because the poem doesn't make sense outside of this specific context. I never said that. It's just the kind of thing I've never really seen before, I guess.
I kind of like playing with my space on the paper. Choosing where and how you space your words can totally change the mood of the poem. It's almost like magic. Where the last line really short makes it feel like they're trying to speak over the noise.
It's still hard for me to tell what it's about, though.
Sometimes, asking what a poem is about isn't the right question. A poem can be as abstract as a physical expression of feeling, or a conversation with the reader. So putting it that way, not every poem is about something. Anyway, here's Monica's writing trip of the day. Sometimes you'll find yourself facing a difficult decision. When that happens, don't forget to save your game.
Oh my god. Like, that is super blatant. I'm trying to remember what her writing trip of the day was for yesterday.
You never know when you might want to change your mind. Or when something unexpected may happen. Wait, is that tip even about writing? What am I even talking about? Well, that's my advice for today. Saving my game. Alright, and with that we will end this. I do feel like this game is kicking into sort of the point, and I feel like we're at a tumbling point where things are going to get very, very interesting. Because I know there's got to be something that's coming in this game. Like, the game is good, but it's not good enough to justify the amount of love it has. So something is about to happen. I obviously don't know what it is, but I'm interested, especially now that we're starting to dive into the fourth wall breakage, for lack of a better term. But anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much for tuning in. I love poems.